My name is David Bissett, and I'm a 2020 inductee into the Field Hockey Hall of Fame.
In the athletes category for this year's Hall of Fame, Field Hockey Canada honors an accomplished leader in the sport. David Bissett was the captain for the first Canadian team to win gold at the Pan American Games and was the first Canadian to play over 100 international matches.
He was the leader, he was the captain. He was the guy who was leading the pack. I mean, I couldn't be happier for him.
Dave is such a competitor. He would communicate really well amongst the players, and he was such a one of the heart and soul of the team. He led by example.
Bissett grew up near a lumber camp in northern Vancouver Island before moving near UBC in his 6th grade year. It was then when Bissett ran into field hockey by accident.
I was walking home with a friend, and he was going to field hockey practice. I'd never heard of field hockey, so I went along, and Lee Wright was at university student then, and he was a coach. And he put a stick in my hand, and it actually happened the first day. I scored 3 goals.
Bissett was then welcomed to the field hockey community with open arms. He later joined the Vancouver Hawks Club and was awarded with the Canadian U16 Championship MVP in 1968.
I think that was a point where I started to really realize that maybe I could go somewhere with this game. Shortly thereafter, I moved to Calgary for 2 years. I was taken away from the game because there was field hockey in Calgary, but it was difficult to get to. Okay. I would hitchhike from Calgary to Vancouver while I was there and stay at Lee's house and play hockey. I mean, I didn't do it that often, but I did it, and I stayed in touch with the game.
Bissett's persistence paid off as he managed to be admitted to UBC and made their field hockey team in 1972. It was there when Bissett captained the team to 3 Division I titles. In his UBC Sports Hall of Fame induction, his former head coach at UBC and the national team, John McBride, described him as a very talented athlete and very tough psychologically.
That's an interesting comment. I think mental toughness is something you develop with time and with age and with experience. So the more I played top level hockey and played against top teams, the more I was able to kind of prepare and knew what I had to do to compete.
While at UBC, Bissett was able to showcase his talents to others also involved with the national team. This inevitably led him to making the senior national team and playing in both the 1975 Pan American Games and 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal.
I don't think there could ever be anything quite like marching in the opening ceremony in your host nation. You're 22, and it's not that you take it for granted, but there's so much in front of you still that you're enjoying it. You're trying to take it all in, but it's hard to do. And of course, you're focused on your sport. Yeah. But I was thrilled to be there and to be part of that.
While on the national team, Bissett was also a law student. Finding a balance while being a student athlete was quite the task.
August, before law school started, I got married. We were on our honeymoon in Hawaii, but I had to cut my honeymoon short a week to come back to go and play in Rome in the Intercontinental Cup for field hockey. I was gone for 3 weeks. When I came back at the end of September, first year law school, no one knew who I was. Who's this David Bissett guy?
As the years went on, Bissett would play in the 1978 World Cup and play in the gold medal match of the 1979 Pan American Games. The 79 Pan American Games was a turning point for Bissett, as the gold medal loss to Argentina took his passion away from the game, resulting in him contemplating stepping out of it for a while. However, Bissett's story with Team Canada would not end there, as new head coach Shiv Jagde convinced him he still had more to give.
He is such a wonderful person, a coach and a mentor, and he really makes you feel special. He just has that knack. He worked with me, and I saw that I had more to give.
Under Jagde, Bissett would go on to captain the first Canadian team to win gold at the 1983 Pan American Games against Argentina.
I can remember in that game in the second half where we were up 3-1 and they had a penalty corner, and I stopped it on the line and I said, I knew they were going to win. I said, not today. This is our day. This is our day.
While the rest of the team's story ended there, Bissett capped off the games as a flag bearer for Team Canada.
Walking into the closing ceremony is special in any event, but to carry your country's flag and to represent the team and a gold medal winning team. It was, it's something I'll cherish.
Bissett would then ride off into the sunset after qualifying for the 1984 Olympic Games. Since then, he has stayed involved with the game, including being the manager for the men's national team for 3 years until 2004. When looking back on his career, Bissett would like to be remembered for how much he has given back to a game that has given him so much.
Besides my playing days, it was a thrill for me to coach juniors and to coach my kids and do that. I mean, and because you see full circle, sort of what the next generation coming up. I stayed involved in the game because I wanted to give back. It's to a sport that had given me so much, and it paved the way for me to get my university education and to travel the world and to make all these wonderful friendships and to play sport at a high level. Those are things that, at the end of the day, are just unbelievable experiences.